AITA for throwing them out of a house that we own. Son and future in-laws decide to exclude his family from wedding. They thought son owned the house, not us. My wife and I bought a 4-bedroom house in PA that my son lives in. Our son went to college in PA and wanted to stay in the area. So we bought the house as a second home. We live in NJ and commute into Manhattan for work. We figured that he would have a place to live and we could visit every so often and spend some quality time together. We pay the taxes and services, maintenance on the house. Our son pays for his groceries and the house utilities. All was going well for a few years. Our son meets a girl and they get serious. We met her and she seems nice enough. They announce their engagement and she moves into the house with our son. Now for the problem, the wedding. We hold a little get-to-know-you barbecue at the PA house. My son and daughter are there, as are our son's fiancée and her parents and sisters. We all seem to be getting along well. My wife, daughter and the fiancé go into the house along with her mother and sisters and my son. A few minutes later, my wife and daughter come out and are really upset. They come over and tell me we're leaving and driving back to NJ. I try to find out what happened. Once we get back to NJ and they calm down, they tell me that our son and his fiancée along with her family don't want us at the wedding. According to what I was told, we're not their kind of people. I was livid. I called my son and asked him WTH this was about. He tells me that her family feel that we are not good enough and will embarrass them at a family wedding and that we are all uninvited from the wedding. I let a week go by to calm myself down and drive back to the PA house. The new future in-laws are in the house along with the fiancé. It appears that they all moved into the house. They ask me why I'm there. I tell them that since we aren't invited to the wedding, I was coming over to talk to my son. They tell me to leave their house. I lost it and told them that they had 30 days to get out. Tell my son I'm selling the house and he could find somewhere else to live with all of you. I go to a realtor in town and list the house for sale. They call my son at work and tell him what I said. Apparently, they thought that he owned the house. He calls me and asks why I'm selling his house. I tell him I paid for it along with the taxes on it and it is mine. He was living there rent-free, but since he doesn't want us in his new life, he has to get out. I tell him the same as I told his future in-laws. They have 30 days to get out, then I'll get a lawyer and get them evicted. Am I the off for taking a hard stance on this? He is my son, but the in-laws seem to take over and we no longer count. NTA. And I want an update on this because it sounds nuts. What kind of people do they think you are? How was your son okay with excluding his whole family? Do you think your son's been brainwashed by his fiancée? How did he think the house was his when he didn't pay the taxes on it? So many questions. Second, the request for an update in a few weeks. This soap opera has more episodes for sure. NTA. You don't need a lawyer in 30 days, you need one now. I am not familiar with PA tenant laws etc., but you need to follow everything by the book so that can't contest anything. I would also go back and videotape, with timestamp, the entire property, inside and out, so they can be held accountable for any damage done. NTA for your stance on the in-laws. However, with your son, I suggest you guys have a conversation, see why is willing to cut you out for a new family. I mean, it seems like you guys were happy until this relationship started. Don't destroy your family to one-up another. Their daughter will likely stay with her parents. Maybe they are taking advantage of your son and he feels he can't express it. NTA. They all moved into your house? That's so bizarre. Tell them they're not your kind of people, aka squatters. NTA. I actually find it hilarious. He is so entitled to the house he didn't even expect you to take it back after his actions. I believe this is exactly the reality check he needed. NTA. But your son must not be very smart. What did he think would happen if he let his in-laws try to kick you out of a house you own? Why would you let people who openly say you aren't good enough live rent-free in your house? NTA. After the wedding, they would have tried to put the wife as part owner of the house and has a rude shock. But OP's son knows he doesn't own the house. Like, what was the plan exactly? It doesn't make sense. The son is probably clueless about real estate and assumed by getting married his wife would just magically become part owner. That was my thought too. I know quite a few people who've never owned a house who see the whole ownership process as a little mysterious. I could easily see an otherwise intelligent, grown human thinking his name's on the deed without ever checking. But I'd sure as hell check before I pulled something as big as cutting contact with my family. AITA for telling my wife the lock on my daughter's door does not get removed till my brother-in-law and his daughters are out of our house. My brother-in-law, Sammy, lost his home shortly after his divorce 10 months ago. He moved in with us and brought his twin daughters, Olivia and Sloane 18, with him a couple of months ago. His sister, my wife, and I have one daughter, Zoe 16, and she and her cousins aren't close but get along fine. Olivia and Sloane have no respect for Zoe's privacy, none. They used to walk into her room and take everything they get their hands on. Makeup, phone accessories, clothes, school laptop, etc. Zoe complained a lot and I've already asked the girls to respect Zoe's privacy and stop taking things. My wife and Sammy saw no issue with this. After all, they're girls and this is typical teenage girls' behavior. I completely disagreed. Last straw was when Zoe bought a $60 MAC makeup kit that looks like a paint set that she saved up for over a month, and one of the girls, Sloane, took it without permission and ruined it by mixing shades together while using it. Don't know much about makeup, but that's what Zoe said when she found the kit on her bed, and was crying. I told my wife and she said she'd ask Sloane to apologize, but I got Zoe a lock after I found she was moving valuable belongings out the house because of this incident. Sammy and his daughters saw the lock and weren't happy. The girls were extremely upset. Sammy asked about it and I straight up told him. He said, "My daughters aren't thieves. It's normal that girls of the same age borrow each other's stuff." He said Zoe could easily get another makeup kit for $15 from Walmart and shouldn't even be buying expensive adult makeup in the first place, and suggested my wife take care of this defect in Zoe's personality, trying to appear older than she is. He accused me of being overprotective and babying Zoe with this level of enablement. I told him this is between me and my wife, but she shamed me for putting a lock on Zoe's door for her cousins to see and preventing them from spending time with her, saying I was supposed to treat them like daughters, then demanded I remove it, but I said this lock does not get removed till her brother and his daughters are out of our house. She got mad I was implying we kick them out and said her family'll hate me for this. So I reminded her that I let Sammy and his family move in, which is something her own family refused to do, so she should start with blaming them for not taking their own son and nieces, granddaughters in. If it wasn't for her family's unwillingness to help, we wouldn't be dealing with this much disturbance at home. Everyone's been giving me and Zoe silent treatment and my wife is very much upset over this. NTA. Don't back down. You are the only one sticking up for Zoe. If her cousins want to use expensive makeup, give them your wife's. I guarantee she won't appreciate sharing anymore. They need to start behaving like appreciative guests. I love this idea. NTA up. You have your daughter's back and totally get her need for privacy and autonomy over her stuff. I'm disgusted that her own mother isn't more supportive. Please lend some mother's makeup to the twins, because obviously it's what girls do, isn't it? They love to borrow and use each other's stuff without asking. Not. Bonus if Op goes into Sammy's room to borrow things without asking. Underwear, an expensive watch or something. Returning it with visible wear and tear. Nutella would be my friend for his favorite pants. NTA. Your wife harbors someone who tells you that Zoe has a defect in her personality for buying an expensive makeup kit. That's the kind of thing that has people thinking about divorce. Exactly. As a mother myself, I cannot fathom how any mother would let someone treat their child like that, even if it is family. That would have bought them a one-way ticket right out my front door. If your kid can't count on you to protect them, who can they count on? NTA. As a parent, I know I can't stop the world from saying bad things about my children. It breaks my heart, but to a certain extent you have to allow it to happen so they learn how to overcome it without being destroyed. But the idea of not only giving that person a home but defending them then attacking the character of the only person on their side is appalling me. Mom gets no slack cut from me on this one. She should be ashamed of herself. Good on Op. NTA.